Leos, I'm Christy, you're watching Tiny Turtle Tarot, and this is your reading for the week ahead. As always, if anything I say resonates or you feel it will in the future, please let me know by liking and subscribing. Let's get on with your reading. What's happening for the beautiful Leos this week? Okay, firstly you had the Five of Wands and the Queen of Swords fly out. Now you have the Nine of Pentacles and the High Priestess. So the Five of Wands is, I'm getting an energy with the Five of Wands straight away of fighting that is necessary. Like almost venting, getting something out of your system. Could be with a partner, could be with a friend, could just be a family member or something. And it might not be very deep or heavy, but there's some type of argument, there's something that needs to be said that is going to be said at the start of the week. And it's like almost as if you say something and you go, oh, and then you're immediately like, oh, at least I said it, I had to say it, someone had to say it. Like, it's kind of like a relief. And then you have the Queen of Swords, which is funny because the Queen of Swords can have a sharp tongue, and the Queen of Swords is very smart, very witty, very quick, very intelligent, but she, like I say, she's got a bit of a sharp tongue, which is the energy I'm getting from you, where you're I feel as if you're going to say something and it might have a bit of a bite to it, but you need to say it, it's necessary, someone has to hear something. And with that Queen of Swords, there's going to be a situation where almost it depends, obviously you've all got different things happening, but I just feel a lot of you might have been underestimated, your intelligence might have been underestimated because of you biting your tongue or not speaking in the past. So when you finally air your actual thoughts and the way you feel about something or someone, when you finally say it out loud, it's almost like, oh, that, you kind of had a point. You kind of have a point. Like, there's something where, to begin with, it's like, oh, that's harsh. And then after a second, it's like, well, actually, it's harsh because it's the truth. And there's something that nobody was saying but had to be said. Like, there's some type of, in the long run, it's going to be healing for you to say this and express this. Because I just feel as if somebody's not seeing some type of toxicity or some type of negative thing about themselves, or I don't think you're calling someone out on something negative about themselves, it's the way that they're acting or something they're doing that you're going to be able to say and articulate perfectly, and you're almost going to be relieved, like, oh, I said it out loud, and then, oh, but I said it perfectly, I couldn't have said it better. So it's kind of it's good, it's a little bit of drama, but it's also like, I don't know how to put it, you're going to be happy about it in a way, because it's something that was causing you dis-ease and stress to be feeling certain feelings, and then you're going to vent them to who needs to hear it. Then you have Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles is an energy of being independent and self, you can look after yourself, basically, to put it simply. I'm not sure why it's coming out, because I feel as if you're already in this energy, but it might just be a feeling of more so than usual. You're happy and secure going about life without relying or needing anything from anybody else. And if anything, it's making you very protective of your peace and of your space, because it's like, oh, who do I let into this space now? And then you have the High Priestess. So this week especially, you're going to be feeling very psychic, very intuitive, very tapped in, tuned in. Trust your gut, trust your intuition. And yeah, I'm going to clarify the Five of Wands. Why is the Five of Wands here for Leo? Ooh, dropped a card. Oh my goodness. The Chariot. Please don't screenshot that. Five of Wands clarified by the Chariot is very much an energy, again, of success. Now, because this is really funny, because I was going to say before and I bit my tongue, it's almost as if there's a successful, this is a really weird thing to say, but it's almost as if you have a successful argument. And that's like, you can't really win an argument, right? Because it's almost like negative and fighting instead of just, you know, communicating in order to understand each person's perspective. Arguing usually doesn't really bring anything positive, but there's a successful argument that actually brings progress, that actually brings some type of forward movement, basically. And also this is multitasking, so it's going to bring forward movement, but in more ways than one. It's going to help you progress, and I feel like a lot of you, this is actually somebody you're with, but it can also be, I'm feeling like it's someone a family member is with, like, if that makes sense. Clarifying the Queen of Swords, Nine of Swords. It's almost as if you were afraid of being too harsh. So you've not expressed your feelings about someone because you didn't want to be too harsh. You didn't want to hurt their feelings, but it's got too pent up now because Nine of Swords is fear. So to clarify the Queen of Swords, who is got a very sharp tongue, she's very good at saying what has to be said, but sometimes can be seen as a little bit mean. It's like you were afraid of being mean or being misconstrued as maybe mean. You didn't want to be seen as the bad person or mean. And then you were like, actually, I know myself. I'm happy with myself. I like who I am. I know myself. I like who I am, what I do, how I act, how I speak. That's all that matters. This is very beautiful. There's kind of a huge message here of like doing what you feel called to do and saying what you feel called to say, knowing you have good intentions, knowing you've held your tongue for too long, knowing that you have to air it for your own health, for your own well-being. You have to say something, you have to let it out. At the risk of being seen as the bad guy, you have to say something, and then you do, and you kind of go, okay, cool. I'm not really sure how they see me. I'm not really sure if they're going to see me as the bad guy now. I'm not really bothered, because I know that I'm a good person. Clarify the High Priestess, the Death card, and the Page of Cups. So Death is all about rebirth, transformation, rising from the ashes, Phoenix rising from the ashes. I really like this energy because it's like Phoenix rising from the ashes. It's just this beautiful energy of like getting to kind of restart, and almost I feel as if there's a restart happening in your life where you get to kind of tap in more to your intuitive and psychic and your gut and doing what you feel called to do. I feel maybe you're finishing up and wrapping up a cycle of doing what your mind said, and for a while that was your mind being like, oh, don't say that thing, be careful. And now you're going with your gut and your feelings, and you're saying what has to be said when it needs to be said, when you feel called to say it. And it could surprise yourself sometimes, but it's good. And there's sometimes Page of Cups can be an apology, so there might be a surprise apology coming forward. And at the end of the day, I'm just getting something where you didn't, in the past, people did you wrong, but you didn't make it known that they'd done you wrong, and they were oblivious. Whereas now you're going to be like entering this energy of, if someone does you wrong, they're going to know about it. You're going to tell them, or you'll show them by like respecting yourself and walking away. There's something where it's a complete shift of nobody's gonna get away with doing you wrong, big or small. You won't, I don't know, and it's really strange because Leos, you don't usually let anybody walk over you or do bad by you, but there's just small things. There's things where you just laugh it off or go, it's not worth the energy. And I respect that, but there's also something now where you're like, if the shoe was on the other foot, I would apologise. I'd apologise in a second, and I deserve an apology. There's something where you're like, I'm gonna be petty. I'm gonna be petty for a little bit, and I'm gonna ask for an apology, or I'm gonna speak my piece, and they either give me an apology, or they either, you know, explain themselves, there's something here. There's a lot of like, and I want to say as well, there's huge energy around this of it being light-hearted on your part. You're not holding any deep resentment, you're not holding any deep like anger. It's light-hearted because you will be airing it, because of the fact that you are able to communicate it so freely. Whereas I feel as if sometimes it's the things that aren't being said and the things people are holding on very deeply to, very tightly to, that are hurting them more and that are affecting them the most. Whereas you're like airing something as soon as it's bothering you. Even if it's a misunderstanding, you're like, what did you mean by that? Like, I don't know, I really like, it's very freeing. Some of you weren't allowed to speak or something in the past. You had to hold your tongue, you had to be polite. Whereas now you're like, what have I got to lose? That's the beautiful energy with this death card, with this rebirth. You're like, actually, I want to know what's going to happen if I just say what's on my mind. Instead of, and that might be why the Nine of Swords is here, instead of questioning and worrying and staying up all night thinking and being concerned about someone's intentions or someone arguing or what they may have meant, I'm just gonna ask them. Like, there's something about communicating very clearly from now on. This week's gonna be a huge tipping point where you do just speak and ask, and you're not afraid to be misconstrued as the bad guy, basically. Sometimes it can seem like that if you are the one being a little bit confrontational. That can look bad, and I feel like that's what you're avoiding. But now it's not so much confrontation, you're just asking for clarity. I really like there's just something very freeing where it's like you're allowed to question why somebody is disrespecting you, big or small. You're allowed to get answers, and you're allowed to, and they may not give you those answers, but you tried. You tried. Like, I don't know what this energy is. It's so funny. I really like it for you though. I'm going to wrap the reading up here. Thank you so much for watching. If anything I said resonated or you feel it will in the future, please let me know by liking and subscribing. And I'll see you next Tuesday for Tiny Solitary Tuesdays.